Welcome to the Autistic Culture Podcast, where we celebrate autistic contributions to society and culture.
Join us every Tuesday as we dive into everything from famous autistics in history to the pop culture, unique passions, and the special interests that define our community.
Whether you're autistic or love someone who is, welcome to Autistica. We're your hosts, Dr. Angela Kingdon, the linguistic autistic,
and Matt Lowry, licensed psychological practitioner. Join us as we explore the values, traditions, and identity of Autistica.
Episode 93, Knitting is Autistic. Well, hey, Matt.
Hey, Angela.
I'm super excited today. We're talking about knitting, and I brought you a special guest.
A special guest who knits?
Well, I hope so, or it's going to be a super weird, we'll just kind of pressure her into talking about knitting.
So you chose a special guest to talk about this particular activity, correct?
That is.
So you're telling me explicitly, because I love puns, that in order to get our special guest, you engaged in nitpicking.
Oh, I was very nitpicky.
Oh, good.
Nitpicking.
Okay.
Nitpicky.
Just wanted to clarify. Yeah, wanted to clarify. So who is this special guest you bring us?
This special guest is Hunter Hammersen, who is a self-described weirdo who dropped out of grad school, ABD in the history of science and medicine. Well, it's a good thing to be all the dissertation in, to run off and write knitting patterns. Which seems very autistic.
This is the way.
This is the way, exactly. So when she was in school, she thought, I should take up knitting. That seems soothing, and I'm sure we'll talk about that factor.
This will possibly turn into an all-consuming life obsession, because I can't imagine how any activity would ever do that for us.
And I'm so glad I'm paying $30,000 a year in tuition while I find my special interest career, which is the only way we seem to be able to do things. So Hunter realized she could not stand following other people's instructions. And so she started making up things on her own, writing her own patterns. We're going to learn more about what that is. And then voila, or viola, turned it into a business.
Nice.
So, so she will never have to teach an 8:30 a.m. history class to a room full of undergrads who do not want to be there and are staring at their phone, playing Bejeweled and ignoring her.
This is the way.
I agree. So Hunter has been doing this for 15 years. She has written and published a dozen books, wrote hundreds and hundreds of patterns, has an audience of knitters, probably one or two autistics in there. I can't say.
Can't imagine.
Can't imagine. If you are looking for friends, patterns, or all things knitting, we're going to link her Patreon. She does do more things than knitting now, which is cool. But we are going to mostly focus today on knitting. And we're going to deep dive into why knitting is such a good fit for autistic brains. How much fun does that sound like?
That sounds like an incredible amount of highly regulated fun. The best kind of fun.
The best kind. With a start time and a stop time. What could be better than that?
Yes.
So Matt, say hello to Hunter, our special purple-haired guest.
I dig the purple hair. Well done on that. That's excellent. So hello, Hunter. Tell us about yourself other than what Angela has extensively info dumped.
Hi. Yeah. Okay. So I found one of those jobs where you're like, oh, this is my hobby. I shall turn it into my job. And then all of a sudden you don't hate your life anymore. You actually like what you do for your job.
The best option.
And then it turns out, hey, if you're doing the thing you like, you usually are pretty darn good at it. And
yes.
It's a lot of fun. It confuses people. People are like, wait, you do what now? You knit things? I'm like, no, well, I mean, I do, but that's not the job part. It's the telling you how to knit them. That's the job part. I mean, it's great. It gets to combine like not wanting to follow somebody else's directions and really enjoying being just a little bit bossy. It's kind of fun.
But go back in time. What's the first thing you knitted? I don't know the past tense.
People say both.
Okay, good. Excellent. I said both in one sentence, even better. So how did this all begin? Take us to the beginnings of your experience.
taught myself how to knit in 2008 because I was a broke grad student.
And this is not, I thought like my grandma taught me fireside.
Oh,
no.
So this was long enough ago that I checked a book out from the library. Again, broke grad student, and bought some less than stellar yarn and needles and figured I can do this. This will be fun. And then I swore at it and said, this is stupid. How could anybody like this? And put it away. And then tried again a little bit later. Nope, still stupid. Still put it away.
This is where I'm at this stage of knitting.
Yeah, like it took me 3 tries. It took me 3 tries before I'm like, oh, I get it now.
But all on your own, or did you have a click after a person?
I did it by myself. Like
that's nice.
I'm really bad at letting other people explain things to me.
That's a little PDA.
Yeah.
PDA. Don't say. My general tactic for learning literally anything is I'm going to spend something between days and years reading about it. And then I'm going to jump in and pick myself a big complicated project and just try it. And then I will learn a bunch of stuff on the way down. And then I will try it again after I've cleaned up the detritus of the first attempt. But with knitting, it clicked right away. It clicked right away in a way that...
Well, right away after the 2 failed times where it didn't click.
But like when it did click, it stayed clicked on. And like a thing I have found with myself...
I keep thinking that's going to happen to me with Spanish. Like one day I'm going to wake up and it's going to be like, oh, there it is, Spanish. You've been trying for 20 years and now you're fluent.
Yeah, I've tried to get fluent at languages without that pesky practicing part in the middle.
Oh, see,
that's my approach.
I
haven't figured it out yet. One day, hopefully. But yeah, so I just it clicked and it stayed clicked on. Like I still enjoy it, which has been unusual for me. Normally, I sort of like dabble. I'm like, oh, this is fun for a year, and now I'm But this one I've stayed enjoying. And I think it's because it's a really good fit for my brain and how my brain works and how a lot of our brains work. I joke with people, hey, if you like me and you like the way I write things, and more significantly, if I like you, there's a good chance you have the spicy brain.
That's
yes, the vibe.
Listen, we're all trying to put Matt out of business. Matt actually does professional diagnosis.
We're trying to free up his time so he can do even more.
Right.
Yeah. And as a person who does this for a living, yes, the people who come to me know way more than literally any neurotypical practitioner out there. So, if you self-identify, you've done the research because that's how it goes.
Or alternatively, if you like Hunter, that could be your whole diagnosis
there
process.
You go. Yes.
You just head over to that Patreon, see if you like her. If you want to watch more than 10 hours of Hunter videos, that's it. You consider yourself diagnosed.
Well, like it's not an official diagnosis, but I think of it as like peer review, you know?
Yes.
If all of your buddies are saying, hey, so you're like,
Yeah, I love it. Okay, why is knitting such a compelling interest for autistic people? And I'm guessing in 2008 you didn't even know you were autistic.
Oh, no, I had no idea.
So,
I'm one of the pandemic babies, more or less.
Right.
Yeah.
So whether you're identifying or not identifying as autistic.
No, I just thought I was a failed normal person in 2008.
Yeah,
like I thought I could go to.
Did you think about trying harder?
Yeah. Have you tried just suffering?
Oh wait, I was a grad student. Who tries harder or does more suffering than grad students? Come on now. Like, y'all know this.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I swear knitting is this wonderful combination of both like a STEM and a special interest and a sensory thing. Because I am the flavor of autistic where I have a lot of sensory issues. If my clothes are wrong, I want to die.
Yeah.
If I have to touch the wrong texture, the world will end. And knitting is wonderful because you can put whatever your version of a good texture is, you can put it in your hands, and then you get to wiggle your hands around in these little repetitive movements. And you can do it in public with relatively little social difficulty.
Socially appropriate hand wiggling. Yes.
Right, exactly. There are some flavors of inappropriate social hand wiggling, and like this is one of the more acceptable ones. You will get less bother from the normies with this than with a lot of other choices, and it is so wonderfully soothing. It gives you an excuse to go talk to other people who do it. It is like this built-in socialization thing. I mean, a lot of the things that we like, Dungeons and Dragons or board games or Star Trek. Pick your thing. It gives you a way to go be like, hi, we have a common interest. We have somewhere to start. We have somewhere to start getting to know each other. We have somewhere to start being friends. I don't have to say, hi, how are you? How is the weather? Like, are you enjoying sports? You'd be like, oh, what are you making? That yarn is gorgeous. Where did you get it? Oh, are you going to the...
Oh, there's, as soon as you see it, there's a built-in conversation. We're going to talk about the yarn, your knitting, your pattern, your process. Like,
and it's a more accepting set of social expectations. There is, we anybody who does any kind of like fibercraft completely understands that, hold on, I'm counting. Like, you don't have to make eye contact.
Oh, wait, pause. Hold on. I don't know the phrase fibercraft.
I love the phrase fibercraft.
Tell me everything about it.
Meaning anything you do with string, basically. So whether you knit or you crochet or you spin your own yarn or you weave your own fabric, like, people get into this.
I feel like this is now I'm learning fibercraft core.
Yeah, this is a whole rabbit hole.
People call it fiber arts or fibercraft. Like, I am not as deep into this as you can be because I do not spin my own yarn, nor do I aspire to have my own sheep. There are people out there.
What?
I know.
I have my own sheep.
I mean, you live in the UK, right? Like,
yes, I could. I have a backyard. Yes. Let's do it.
Yeah. And these are the unofficial levels of autism. Regular knitting, knitting and specialty, raising sheep so that you can knit with your animal friends. Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
I like these levels better than the ones in the DSM.
Yeah.
Like, level 1 is just knitting 10 to 12 hours a week. Level 2, like making your own yarn. Level 3, raising sheep. These are levels I can live with.
Yeah. Like, you can ease your way into it. You do not have to, like, nobody's going to issue you a pet sheep when you start. Don't worry.
Okay.
Hot damn.
There's a thing, I'm going to reference this because I want people to listen to this in conjunction with our Questlove episode. One of the things why I've been wanting for a long time to do a knitting episode is I have a fascination with the stim spin crossover. And in the Questlove episode, one of the ways Questlove liked to stim as a little kid was spinning. And then that spinning became spinning records because their household had a lot of them. And while spinning records, he was reading and memorizing the artists and the producers. Mm-hmm. And that became the world's best collection of African-American music, which the Smithsonian has since accepted into their collection, right? So plus he became a DJ, so he was spinning records that way. So that stim became a spin. When I look at, let's just say, Tom Daley during the Olympics, in between swimming events, sitting on the sidelines knitting, I have tried many times to become a knitter and failed. But just visibly looking at him, I think that stim would regulate my nervous system. I could see it. I look at it and I'm like, if I could do this instead of looking at social media, my hands would be filled and they would be doing basically the same thing I'm doing when I'm biting my nails or smoking or looking on social media. This feels like a more, what's the opposite of maladaptive, Matt?
Adaptive.
Yeah. Oh, good. Thank you. See, I don't even know. I'm so good at the maladaptive ones. So, but it is a stim that is also a spin. Yes. So I want to talk about the spin piece for a minute because there's different patterns, there's different yarn levels, there's, I don't know, maybe sheep versus alpaca, scratchy versus soft. Like, what is the research piece? What's the data collection piece behind it? I see the click, click, click and the knit one, purl one. I got that part. I don't know how to do it, but
we can teach you. We can bring you into the fold.
I might be part of this Patreon soon.
We can make this happen. I promise. Like, you will not be the first person I have brought to the furry side. Yeah, no, it is.
Oh, that's a whole discussion right there.
Ponies are autistic.
Let's go with fuzzy. Let's go with fuzzy.
Okay, not furry.
See, this is one of my favorite bits because you can get as far into it or as not too far into it as you want. You want to talk about bottom-up processing? I mean, deciding I'm going to take these 2 sticks and this piece of string and turn it into a sweater. Like, it's rather literal.
Yeah. But I'm going to make a sweater from rope.
I mean, it's fine. Like, every hat I own and most of the socks I wear are, this started with a ball of string. And you can get super into it if you want. You don't have to, but you can be one of those people who's like, okay, so let's talk about the structure of the yarn and how many plies does it have and how are they twisted and how does that affect how the fabric that you make from it wears and where did the fabric come from or where did the yarn come from and who dyed it and what things did they use to dye it with and what is the material of, like, you can get as deep into it as you want, and a lot of us do. The people who are really into this end up having extremely strong feelings about, like, I like to knit with this and I like to knit with this and I do not like to knit with that. And
I would like to hear more about yarn stashes. I have heard about yarn stashes.
So I have a very, very modest yarn stash. It only fills one closet. It only fills, like, I literally, a lot of my friends have yarn stashes that have their own bedroom.
Of course.
No.
Because
this is the way.
Very modest, very restrained. People will have somewhere between dozens to hundreds to thousands of skeins of yarn in their house.
It's its own museum.
Yes.
And as with a lot of us, I could pull pretty much any skein of yarn out of my stash and be like, oh, this is from Seven Sisters Arts. I got it at Rhinebeck in 2013.
This is like my
I
books.
used some of it to make this hat.
Do they talk to you? I can pick a book off a shelf and it tells me the story of, like, when I purchased it and then when I read it and what I was wearing when I read it and when I finished it. And
sometimes it's, I have to keep this ball of yarn forever because it has feelings on it. I can never actually use it.
Friends, family, and fictional characters and yarn stashes.
And, it's like, this is the special. I got this one on vacation. So many of us go on vacation and come home with a suitcase full of yarn because it's like, this is what I got. And you make the thing and you remember your trip the whole time.
And it's too special to ever use.
50-50. Sometimes it is too special to use. Sometimes you have to use it so that you can make the thing.
The thing.
And then you have the thing. Like, sometimes you walk into the yarn store or you're at the fiber festival and you're like, oh, look at that gorgeous hat, some assembly required. And you're like, okay, I need this. And it's so, like, yes, I have a few balls of yarn that are never going to get used because they're just pets. And that's fine. They're very low maintenance pets. But a lot of people have a lot of yarn. And it's the thing where when you're really into it, you will put a lot of time and energy and resources into it. A skein of yarn, the nice stuff, $30 to $50. And
what?
Yeah, well, so here's the thing.
It's made of Rapunzel hair.
No,
golden locks?
It's that a wonderfully skilled person carefully and with a lot of experience and a lot of their time and a lot of their effort made that yarn into something really pretty. They put the gorgeous colors on it. And because it's an incredibly manual process to dye yarn. Like it is worth every penny that folks charge for it. Like, it is respecting their time and their labor and their expertise. And also you end up with a closet with thousands and thousands of dollars worth of yarn.
Because you are a bottom-up processor and see the details that other people do not see. And that's why this is incredibly important, because you say, oh, yes, this is a good yarn as opposed to that scratchy crap that you find at Joann Fabrics.
Or like, this is yarn from my friend who is the only dyer I know of who actually makes a blue I like. I hate all the other blues. Every blue she makes is magic. Therefore, it's just, we have feelings about our yarn. But I mean, come on now, you have feelings about all the things on your shelves. I know
this is the way.
I know you do. And it's not yarn for everybody, but you have feelings about the tools.
Of course.
Do you
Yes.
Yeah, and like you can collect the tools. Do you like double pointed needles? Do you like circular needles? Do you like straight needles? What material do you like for them? What like profile? Do you like the square ones? Do you like the round ones? Do you like the hexagonal ones? Do you like them out of wood? Do you like them out of metal? Because it matters. Like how they feel matters, and how they interact with the yarn matters. And it's this. A lot of us I know aren't very physical, like aren't very sort of in our bodies. And knitting is a really, I know, it's a hard thing. It's a hard thing. But knitting is a really like nice kind of little bridge to get a little tiny bit more in your body, because it's this thing that you're doing with your hands, and you get to touch it, and you get to sit there and like pet it. And it's this soft, fuzzy, wonderful thing. And it helps. Like if I'm feeling particularly scattered or particularly outraged.
I see. That's the thing. I'm like, I know that would be grounding for me.
And there are so many, t-shirts that say I knit so I don't kill people. And it
I feel like I get that. Only
not
a little.
A joke.
Yeah.
It's that thing where it helps you calm down. It's very regulating. And that's why like a lot of us have more than one project on the go at once. And you will have sort of the one that lives in your bag that goes out in the world with you, that doesn't require a lot of attention and is relatively small, that you can work on while you are in line, or while you are, I don't know, at the family holiday event where you need to keep your temper in check.
Or while you're listening to brief commercial messages during a podcast. Because if you have knitting, now's a very good time to break out the knitting as
pick
you
up your knitting, folks.
To these brief commercial messages. Have you been thinking about writing a book? Did you know Angela helps autistic people write books and get literary agents? Whether you want to write about your special interest, your autism journey, or your professional area of expertise, you can learn more about her work at angelakingdon.com. That's Angela, KINGDON, like November.com. She helped me write my book.
All right. Well, welcome back. You are listening to the Autistic Culture Podcast with me, Dr. Angela, Matt, and our special guest today, Hunter Hammersen. And before the break, we were talking about how knitting might keep you from committing murder, which we are very excited about.
Autistic life hack.
Yes, exactly.
This is 100% success rate with not murdering anyone.
None of Hunter's clients or Patreons have committed murder, as far as we know, thanks to their knitting habits.
We're going to add that to your bio in the show notes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, however, I would like to transition a little bit to, you've hinted at this, but let's dig into the sensory experience. Because one of the things for me, just me, only me as an autistic person, is I have very strong feelings about clothing or anything that touches me. I'm sure it's just me. But honestly, I think this might be one of the mistakes I made. So the first time I tried to knit, I was an exchange student in Australia. Australia is obviously, I knew nothing about knitting, but I decided my year abroad, I was going to learn how to knit. They're famous for their sheep. And so I don't know. I got yarn. I wanted to make like just a not dyed wool, just like a cream. I don't know why I started with a sweater. I clearly should have started with a scarf. And what I purchased was extraordinarily scratchy. And every time I picked it up, all I thought about was how much I wanted to put it down. So, I was 15. I'm sure I bought it based on the price or something. I obviously was not diagnosed at that time. But talk to me about your perspective on yarns and textures and how all of that experiences the creation process, and then also maybe what you buy.
Okay, so I'm going to put in a huge plug for going to your local yarn store. Most places have one. Like, get online, look for yarn store. They are wonderful because you walk in and it is just this treasure trove of colors and textures. And 90% of the time, they are run by really awesome, really lovely, really welcoming people who will encourage you to walk around the store and touch things until you find something that feels nice to you.
It's like a please touch me museum.
Yeah.
An autistic safe haven.
Yes, it is. Like there's a tiny little sliver of places where they'll get a little sniffy about it. And we try not to encourage it. But all of the good places will be like, oh, you're new. Come on. We're gonna let me introduce you. Let me show you these wonderful things. And they will help you figure out, oh, do you like merino wool? Do you like alpaca? Do you like cashmere? A lot of people really like cashmere. Cashmere's nice. Do you like silk? Like, which one of these smells good to you? It is not unusual to see people in the yarn store like sniffing their yarn because it's
that was the other thing. I could still smell that yarn from when I was 15. It had apparently a lot of a lanolin smell. Yeah. I don't know what that is, but I don't like it. It's not for me. I'm still triggered by it.
So lanolin is basically sheep grease. It is, you know how like your skin and your hair have oil on them? So does sheep. And it
smells like a sheep in the rain to me.
It does. And
I don't like it.
Different yarns have more or less processing done to them. It sounds like you maybe had a fairly rustic, fairly lightly processed yarn. Like every now and then
it was practically a sheep.
Yeah, and that is a challenging place to start.
It was bad.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Okay, I'm gonna tangent here for a second. The number of pun people in the knitting world, there are so many sheep puns and sheer pun and like
the sheer volume. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, we are like, so you know how like I feel like hair places have us beat in terms of like punny business names, but yarn stores are a close second. So honestly, like, yes, there's a fondness for puns among our people. This is a thing that happens.
It's an ongoing thread among our people. Yeah.
There's like a penalty box for this, right? Like
there is.
Punishment. Yeah.
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 But yeah, so it sounds like you had maybe a fairly rustic and a fairly unprocessed yarn, which is not where I encourage people to start.
No.
And to be frank, neither is a sweater or a scarf. I tell people to start with either a washcloth, because you can start and be done and like have a thing that you can use, and also that doesn't necessarily need to be the most aesthetic thing in the world, or to start with a hat, because a hat is just a tube that gets littler at the top. It is structurally pretty easy, and you're going to be done with it before you get bored to tears. And I like to start people with. I tell people not to start with a crappy yarn, because if you start with really, like, if you go to Walmart or you go to Joann or you go to Michael's, don't go to Hobby Lobby.
Bad people don't go there. Not allowed.
We'll do the whole like knitting and social justice issues here in a second.
Yes,
I can't wait for that.
Yes.
But if you go to one of those places and you buy the like completely nylon, squeaky, you're going to have a bad experience. You're going to have a bad tactile experience.
I'm not even a knitter, and it hurts me. I know what you're talking about because it's that bad.
Mm-hmm. That thing where it's just goes, no. Like, I like to start people with a wool, and I like to start people with something that's relatively soft, like a merino, because a lot of people think wool is scratchy, and I promise wool is not scratchy. I would not be wearing this if it was scratchy. Wool is not scratchy. It doesn't have to be scratchy. Some of it can be. And we can like talk about, I don't know, the structure of wool and why it's scratchy if you want to, but that might be a little too much in the weeds.
I'm like, it is in the weeds, but I am kind of interested, not going to lie.
We'll do the 30-second version.
Okay.
So you know how wool is just hair. And if you look at your hair under a microscope, you know how it has those little scales on it? So does wool. And on some wool, those scales are more lifted up. And on some wool, either those scales are more down just naturally, or they have been treated in such a way that strips all the scales off. And so when those scales are more down, the yarn will feel softer. There's a lot more to it. Nobody yell at me for not getting into all the nuances.
Yeah.
That's the short version of it. Like, so different breeds of sheep and different ways that the yarn has been processed before it gets into your hands will change how scratchy it feels.
Oh, well, do you have a favorite yarn because of how it feels in your, I know favorite's probably wrong, but just in terms of feel, like what's the one that feels
The actual answer is my current favorite is a merino yak and silk blend, because Sure, why not? Who is not going to just be a little bit extra and be like, yes, I like my like 80% merino, 10% silk, 10% yak. It's a lovely blend.
That's some quality bottom-up processing. Please continue.
You asked if I had a feeling about this, and this is actually my feeling about this. I like it because it's just a little bit shimmery, because like silk has a really long fiber structure. Like silk filament can be like yards and yards and yards long, and so it reflects the light really nicely. It's also got like a triangular. I'm getting sorry.
This is really good. We're enjoying it.
This is some good info dump. Yeah, keep it coming, man.
I warned you. Just
we like
so
it.
between the like slight shimmeriness of the silk and then the like slightly gray undertone of most yak fiber, you get like these really rich dark colors that bounce just a little bit of light back at you, and then all of that is super soft. So like I would be perfectly happy to live in pajamas made out of that yarn. Someone will need to fund this lavish lifestyle I wish to adopt, but you know, hit me up. But yeah. So
how do you feel about moving to Kentucky? We could make it happen. Indiana. Hold on.
Yeah.
Indiana's a little scary these days.
Indiana took a dark turn.
How does Indiana feel about moving to Maine?
Right.
But so it's tricky because people will say, "Oh, what's your favorite yarn?" And I'm like, "Oh, well, do you mean my favorite? Do you mean my favorite company because I'm friends with the people who run it? Or do you mean my favorite materials to go into a yarn base? Or do you mean my favorite twist structure in the yarn?" And it's that thing you're like, "Oh, how long of a conversation do you want to have about this?"
Please provide parameters. Yeah.
Do you, when you go to the store, I don't know, just like a regular boutique or H&M or wherever, do you find yourself touching?
Oh, it has ruined me for touching.
Oh, tell me I want to hear how you've been ruined. Okay. Tell me about my future. What happens? What are you looking at?
What happens is you get snobby about fiber. You get snobby about what materials you like. Because like, so I don't know about you, but like sometimes I put a shirt on and everything can seem fine about it, but you're just like, excuse me, I have died, that it is touching me wrong. This is not a material that's meant to be on human skin. And I have found more and more over time, I can't really do synthetic fibers very well. And so many clothes are polyester or rayon or viscose, or they say they're out of bamboo, but excuse me, if you turn bamboo into a fiber, you have turned it into rayon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
I was unaware.
They've been lying to us?
It's not that they're lying to it. It's that they basically go through such an industrialized process that it literally is just like a flavor of rayon.
Wow.
They do so much processing to it that like, sorry. But yeah, so I have found that over time I do less and less well with synthetic materials. I really like natural materials. I like cotton, I like linen, I like silk, I like wool. And it makes it harder to, once you like get sensitized to that, once you realize the common denominator in the things that are bugging you, all of a sudden you're like, no. Like you run your hands down it and you're like, oh, I don't like those.
So I'm guessing this is like a lot of fast fashion isn't going to work for you anymore.
Yeah, and the thing that is frustrating is that there's an increasing tendency, even in sort of the more like slightly higher end stuff, to use the same fast fashion quality standards, for lack of a better word. Yeah, it's really frustrating. So like it's just tricky. That said, I have never knit a sweater in my life. I do not intend to ever knit a sweater in my life. It is a big project. It is a long process. Like
that is a shocking turn.
Okay, here's the thing. Like I am a large person. I like very fine knit sweaters. I don't want to make that many inches of fabric at 9-10 stitches per inch. I just don't. So, but what it has, like what being into knitting and what being into fiber has done, is it lets me have a much better success rate at finding store-bought things that I like.
Wow.
Yes.
And I am very much one of those, oh, I like this. I would like every color, please.
Of course.
Right. Same.
As is the way.
And I am very much like, no. I have my emotional support long sleeve 100% cotton t-shirts, and I have dozens of them because I stocked up, because one time they went out of stock and I thought I would die. So then when they came back, I bought a lot.
This is why Andy Warhol died with hundreds of pairs of the same green underwear, and why Stephen Sondheim died with hundreds of the same Blackwing pencil.
And why I have 15 black t-shirts, because if it fits, I buy them all. So
and it's also why in addition to like knitting, I've recently gotten into like sewing my own clothes, because sure, why not? It's faster than knitting. That's about the only thing I can say for the speed of it. It is faster than knitting. If you don't literally make the fabric yourself, it's faster. It's still not fast. But yeah, learning more about fibers. And I don't even necessarily mean like learning more about them in your brain. I mean learning about them in your hands.
Yeah.
Like, learning about them in your skin, learning about them. Like we were talking about, yarn has, all materials have some sort of like learning, I don't like the smell of whatever, or I really
lanolin, turns out.
Lanolin is not your friend. So like I can give you a list of like yarns. These are the ones that you should avoid, and here are some that you could try instead. And some people are the exact opposite. Some people love that really sheepy, really rustic feel. Like, and that's one of the things that's so fun about this, is like none of it is inherently good or bad. It's, what do you like? Okay, so given that we know that you like these three things, what can we guess about what else you're gonna like? And it lets you like narrow in on the things you're gonna like more efficiently.
So if you aren't making sweaters, what do you make? And what do you do with the things you make?
So I make things that are scandalously impractical. Oh
yeah.
I changed the name of my business a couple of years ago to Tiny Nonsense, because a lot of what I knit is tiny nonsense. Recently, like just in the last couple of months, I knit cute little bat toys, because who doesn't want a cute little knitted bat? And doesn't it need a cute little pointy widget?
I did buy, I think this is coming out, I hope this is coming out after Christmas, but I did buy everyone in my family from a Christmas market, a dumpster fire, knitted dumpster fire.
Yes.
And it says 2024, and I think it's perfect.
I got couple of years ago, there was a lot of talk about impeachment. I got real cranky about it. I knit a whole bunch of little peaches because sometimes you just need to stab something and you need to throw something. And
knitting and social justice.
The other day, I became absolutely possessed with the irresistible urge to knit a jellyfish. So I knit a bunch of jellyfish.
I understand that. And then that could morph into the need to knit an octopus. That seems like something that could happen.
Technically, it started with like sea urchin shells, and then the sea urchin shells turned into a jellyfish. But yeah, it's just a lot of
very things. Reasonable.
So, I mean, when I'm feeling more practical, I will design things like hats or mitts or cowls or socks. But a lot of what I make is tiny nonsense. It is things that nobody needs, and yet I don't know about you, but I need my toys. Like I need.
And we need our toys. Matt someday will have an office again with his toys. Although I'm not.
And I
don't
mean,
even
even now,
believe it.
there's a few back there.
There are, but we used to have a whole museum, and I don't know if he's ever gonna get back to that.
Yeah, I've got to put up the entire Autistic Hall of Fame with all my autistic centered toys, like Tina from Bob's Burgers and Data from Star Trek and Spock, and
because they're your friends, they're your buddies.
Yes, exactly.
They help your brain. They help your brain chill out.
They do.
Yeah, and a lot of times, what I end up starting with is, I want to make this shape. If I wanted to make this, if I wanted to pick up a piece of string and start working with it, like knowing what I know about like how you construct a fabric that is built into that shape, how would I do it? Oh, what if I tried this? What if we tried this? And like you just.
So you're really on this, like on the innovation side. You're like, because you're a pattern maker.
So like the joke is that I'm a failed engineer. When I started school, I was supposed to go off and be a civil engineer because I really like how things are built, how things are made, how things are put together. Turned out, did not want to spend that much time around concrete, which is fine. But I love the idea of like, okay, cool. How do I take this 2D thing and turn it into a 3D thing? Like, how do I how do I put the pieces of this together? And with knitting, it gets to be super fun because you're like, how do I do this in the most efficient way? With sewing, you're like, all right, I'm going to cut the fabric into pieces and then stitch them together. With this, I'm like, no, let's just create the shape as we go.
We have to do a lot of creativity with that, especially when it comes to the podcast, because if you're going to transition two things together, I'm bad at transitions. Like right now, how we have to transition to a commercial. So we'll come back to that in just a minute. We'll talk about how you transition afterwards. Thanks for listening to the Autistic Culture Podcast. I practice in Kentucky, and you can get a psychological evaluation or therapy with me if you live in Kentucky, or a consult with me from anywhere in the world, because it's a non-clinical service. Just contact me at www.mattlowrylpp.com. MATTLOWRYLPP as in licensed psychological practitioner.com.
And you can find out more about writing your book with me at angelakingdon.com.
This is the way.
Welcome back. You are listening to the Autistic Culture Podcast with me, Angela Kingdon, Matt Lowry, my lovely co-host. And today we are talking all things knitting with Hunter Hammersen. And I think if you guys agree with me, we should jump into a little more social justice and knitting. We've teased it. I want to hear what are people fighting about in the knitting world? Like, you can't possibly use those dyes. Children are dying in Nairobi. Like they're
DYEING.
Yeah. See the dyes and the dying because of the dyes. Yeah. It's poisoning the water in Bangladesh. What do people fight about in the knitting world?
Oh, it's not so much that. There's two things. There's two things. One is, how dare you charge for your work?
Well, I had that thought.
Because labor has value?
Mm-hmm. Well, I was going to ask because you mentioned the peaches and some of your other, like the octopus or the sea urchins or whatever. And I was going to ask if you had like an Etsy store or something.
So I don't sell any of the physical things that I make because the time on that just doesn't work out.
It doesn't make sense. You'd have to sell them for like $87.
Yeah, because like, hey, this thing took me 10 hours to make. You are not going to pay me for 10 hours of my time. You're just not. So there's two things. Like the smaller scale one is, how dare you charge for your work? It's a scandal. Don't you realize that knitting is just this thing that a couple of nice ladies do for a hobby, and so you should do it for practically free? And a couple of years ago, I said, fuck that entirely. I'm going to be expensive because the thing I make is amazing, and I make a really good quality product, and I'm perfectly comfortable with it being expensive.
As if there's some sort of self-esteem involved.
Right. Like as if it's okay to realize.
If you give it away, you might be more lovable. Have you ever thought of that?
Yeah. Oh, and the people who tell me, gosh.
Anxious attachment.
And the people who say, if you sold that for $2 instead of $10, more people would buy it. I'm like, oh, actually, I have 15 years of data that show that that's not true.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
That is
so true with books too. Mm-hmm. Is that, you've written a bunch of books, but it's like you think, well, the book is only $20. People are going to buy this. So no, it is just as hard to sell a book as like a $2,000 course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then like I don't actually think these are as unrelated as people would want to have you believe. But then there's a group of people who say, can't we just knit? Can't we just leave politics out of it? And over the last couple of years, I have become significantly less willing to leave politics out of it, because it turns out that all of these politics are showing up in my life, are trying to show up literally in my body, and I'm not okay with that. And I'm going to tell you very loudly and very directly that I'm not okay with that. One of the things that I do every single month for the last 2+ years is I do a post on all of my social places, on all of the places where I say, abortions are good, and here is how you can order abortion pills online. Because that's a thing that we all need to know, because look at what our government is trying to do.
Maybe we could knit little pill packets that are like, here's where I keep my plan B.
Yeah, like I have seen so many people who have knit like cute little uteruses. I don't know what the
uterus is. Uteri. I only have the one.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, it'd be awkward otherwise. But yeah, like and a lot of people So what happens is the first time you say something like that, a chunk of your audience is scandalized, horrified, because they thought you felt the same way that they do. And it turns out that they were wrong. And so they storm off in a huff. And then what you're left with is people who are, who share more of your values. We'll put it that way. And there is nothing so comfortable, so safe, so wonderful as like knowing that you have an audience of people who share your values. And so the more open you are about what you think and how you feel and what's important to you, the more other people who feel the same way will find you. And it is so wonderful because you end up with a community of people who you are in alignment with.
Okay, so I want to go back because earlier in the episode, you had mentioned going to a local yarn store. And so I did look this up earlier because I have been since I got to England. It's been on my list to learn knitting. Also, why you arrived in my life so fortuitously. And everybody seems to knit here. You go to people's houses and they have a little to the thing with the stuff. And I tried to get my aunt to teach me and it was a disaster, but she like kept giving me balls of yarn and sticks. But I'm like, what do you do with them? The knit one per anyway. So I did look up a local yarn store and then they do it's got a name, but come over and knit with us thing, knitting circle, knitting something.
Stitch and bitch, some people call them.
Yeah.
Sit and knit, some people call them.
Yeah, but I don't know if they're bad people. How do I find like
you walk in and be yourself. And if they don't, if it doesn't feel like it's a good fit, then you try again at a different store. Because like, I won't lie, there are some stores where the sweet little old lady behind the counter is creepily conservative and will be like, oh, excuse me, your hair is purple. You are clearly a terrible person.
Oh, maybe that's it though. You just show up with purple hair and a nose ring.
But like the thing is also, there are plenty of stores where you walk in with your pink hair and your nose ring and your clothes that you made yourself, and you feel like the most normie person there because everybody else is even. Yeah. So
I need to find that place.
I would like to find a whole bunch of vibrant haired women. So yeah.
You have mentioned, I told you to add that to your online dating profile, like colored hair, preferred, weirder the better.
There is a higher than average incidence of technicolor plumage among knitting people, in part because the stuff that you use to dye hair is the stuff that you use to dye hair, whether it's a sheep hair or a person.
Of course.
But yeah,
dating hack. Yes.
Hey, look, if I will say to all of the gentlemen out there who want to find there is a very disproportionate gender ratio in the knitting world. There are a lot more women who knit than men. So if you want to hang out in a place with a lot of nice ladies, go check out your local knitting group.
Hey, this is really a dating hack.
I am extremely not kidding.
So I love this very much. So let's talk about the social aspects of it, because honestly, when you said walk in there, like that's in my brain. I think about going to places so often, but then my couch is so much nicer.
First, you like sneaky stealth observe them. Like don't walk into the store for knit night for the first time. Go to the store like a day before or on a different, like just check out the vibe, get on their socials, like get on Instagram, get on, I don't know, TikTok. I don't TikTok, but
whatever. Blue Sky. We're all getting on Blue Sky now. Yeah, that's the rule.
Yeah, like I missed when Twitter was good, but now Twitter is hell.
We don't say, we call it shitter now. I don't know if you knew. I learned that today.
Mm-hmm. Twitter is the only place whose name change I will not respect.
Yeah, but if we
shall dead name it to the end.
Yes.
If we change it to shitter, I pronounce an X as
that works.
SH.
That works. I like it.
Yeah. I accept that name
like,
change.
Go sneak on that yarn store. Like, go spy on it. Like, check out their website.
I like this idea.
Because a lot of them are like, hey, here's what we're doing for our float in the local pride parade or whatever it is. Like,
oh, yeah, okay.
You will find, you will oftentimes, and like this is maybe a judgmental thing to say, but oftentimes the places that are more likely to be cool are also the ones that are more likely to have a pretty solid online presence. Because they realize that a lot of the folks that they like have those same concerns. Because I find that everybody who is more likely to be more chill has at some point in their life been the one who felt like the weirdo, has been the one who felt like they weren't welcome, has been the one who felt like they weren't safe. And so
I love that idea.
Yeah.
And then what about your world? Is your world all virtual? Do you do things in person, or do you people like buy your patterns? What do you do?
I am pretty much entirely virtual. People ask if I teach classes and I say no because I'm mean and you won't like me.
Yeah, me too, girl. I like that.
I have found that I like having it is daunting and weird to have a large community online. It is a strange experience if you are the little introvert who is used to having like 3 really good friends and that's it. To all of a sudden be like, wait, how many people are on this Instagram or are on this mailing list? Because it can be kind of this like deluge of people who don't know you well enough to be careful with your feelings. And so what I have been finding over time is that like I get more me the smaller the circle is. So like there's a version of me that is on Instagram that is relatively polished and professional.
Which we will put this in the show notes, but your tiny nonsense, right? Instagram.
No, it's just Hunter Hammersen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got
and
it.
then like there's the version of me that's on my mailing list that is maybe a little bit more direct because it's a smaller group of people. They have elected to like follow me a little more closely. And then like there's the version of me that's on Patreon where no, you get the slightly more unhinged, slightly more unfiltered version of me. Because
that's the most you? Patreon is the most you?
Of the things that exist on the internet. Like there's always, you can come to my local knit night. You can meet me at my local yard store and we can hang out and you know, bemoan the downfall of the world. But yeah, like it's just you have to have some protections. To just like keep yourself together and to not get too overwhelmed by wow, that's a lot of people.
Join us at Autistic Connections on Facebook with 2.2 thousand people. That's a scary number. But yes.
That might be enough to get me on Facebook. I have so far resisted the siren call.
The world of the Zuck, yes.
Yeah. Facebook has a lot.
So this is your whole business? You make patterns and sell them online. You don't teach people what? No.
The one thing that I have recently started doing that I'm like slowly easing into is going back to doing some physical stuff. I did paper books, like actual ink on paper, get several tons of them shipped over from your printer, and then spend the next year or two shipping them out to places. I used to do physical books. That got to be hard because the publishing industry changed, and I don't like doing print on demand because the way I like my knitting books to be, you have to have a little more control over it than some of the
print on demand is good for certain things, but generally like workbooks, coffee table books, anything color, cookbooks, it's not as good for.
And if you're a weird little tactile person who's like, excuse me, I have feelings about the paper.
I was like, control freak? Is that the word you're looking for, Hunter?
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Like, excuse me, I want to let's discuss how the cover is put together. Like, I want a little ribbon bookmark in my. I did a book with a ribbon bookmark in it, and it is like one of the.
That's really hard. The thing that I like is like die cut stuff.
Yes.
And that's did you print in China?
Yes, I did. I printed with a big printer in China where you like have to order 10,000 copies of the book at once.
Yeah, and that's the way to do it.
When you order 10,000 copies of it at once, they cost a lot less per copy, which lets you wholesale them.
Right.
Which was, and I did that for years and years and years. A couple of years ago, I decided, print books are hard. The thing I have been getting into recently is doing kits because a lot of my patterns have stuff that goes inside of them. Like, okay, this is easy to make. You're gonna need 3 peg dolls and a piece of vinyl, and you just like these weird things that people are like, excuse me, I need what now? And so I'm starting to like play with putting some of those kits together for people. I'm not sure what we'll see. We'll see.
And like as an example, I'll put the link to Hunter's Patreon so you can see it. But like as an example, this will not be up there when you get there. But I see that you have like a Christmas tree ornament kit.
Yep.
And you can sort of picture like, okay, you're going to need, I don't know if it's styrofoam or something, but you're not going to knit the whole thing. You're going to need something inside that you knit around, and you're going to need a hook, and you're going to need.
And like most people are like, yeah, I get to go do a scavenger hunt. And some people are like, wait, I have to go do a scavenger hunt?
Oh, no.
Could you please just send me all the pieces? And so I am working on like, okay, yeah, I can just send you the pieces.
I love that. Yeah.
And so like that is something that I'm sort of gently easing into. We'll see.
That is amazing. Is there anything that we didn't get to today about why knitting is autistic? Is there anything we haven't covered? Anything you want to make sure people know if they, like me, are considering this?
I'm going to put in a really strong, a really strong like suggestion that if you have sensory issues, try this. It is a way to improve aspects of your like physical world that will probably make you feel better. Like I have some little like fingerless mitt things that I wear because they're a cross between a warm hand thing and a fidget toy and a weighted blanket. And they just, if I'm having a bad day, if I'm having a stressful day, I can put this thing that I made on and it makes me better able to tackle my day. So if the world sometimes feels too big, if the world sometimes feels too scary, if the world sometimes feels too loud or too scratch, just try it. Make yourself your little thing you can keep with you. It will help.
Oh my goodness. I love this. Matt, are you ready to be the next Tom Daly? The next guy knitter? I don't know who else. Sam Ryder? I don't know who else the male knitters of the world are.
I don't know who any of the people are, but I'm definitely willing to look more into textiles, look more into rope, because
fiber crafts.
I am definitely a fabric person, but not nearly as much as this guy's a fabric person.
You just want Matt is holding up a Muppet and he is trying to find some way. Maybe you can make knitted Muppets.
You
yes,
can.
Because that would be
not even be the first, I assure you.
Yeah.
Maybe Hunter can make a Muppet kit.
Oh,
and you
yes,
could buy
please.
a kit. That could be our first project. That sounds like
because that would yeah. Make your own Matt and Angela. That would be cool.
Ooh. We could do a collab, Hunter. Oh, I'm told I say collab wrong. Collab. I can't get it right, but my children mock me. I cannot say thank you enough for this deep dive. My favorite part was when you got super geeky about the 10% silk. 10%
oh yes, yes. That soothed the soul. That was really excellent. Did. Well done.
I mean, a lot of us autistic folks like enjoy hearing people who are excited about a thing talk about the thing, even if we know nothing about it.
Exactly. That's why our show exists.
Because I'm like, someday I could know all those things. There's all those things yet to be known.
It is comforting to know that there's somebody out there who knows the things. Like, oh, I don't have to learn them all because somebody else knows them.
Yes.
They are known.
Good. Yeah. So with that, Hunter, I am going to ask you to delight with me in Matt's tale of what he loved about being autistic this week. Tell us something good, Matt.
Well, if you're watching on YouTube, I will slowly pan over because I've been working on this for the past several weeks because I've finally gotten a whole bunch of Billy bookshelves.
Oh, you guys, it's a thing of beauty. It's the most beautiful. It's the library.
Rearranging your bookcases is one of the best things to do if you are having a shit day. It fixes things.
It is. I still haven't found my silverware from the move, but oh my God, I finally got.
Great.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was going to turn a small side room into a library, but I realized that I've got a fireplace over here and a comfy chair. So I was like, I want my books here, my fireplace here, so I can sit and read a book by the fireplace. And that entire wall was way open, and I didn't want to put a couch all the way against the wall because it's too far away from the TV. So it's a perfect place for all of these bookshelves. And I think I'm still missing like another box of books somewhere in the
I was going to ask
tavern.
you, do you think you're all there? And do you have any other media there? Like, do you have movies there?
The movies are all stacked up over there because I will. Yeah, there's again, my house is a complete mess, but that stack of briefcases are all discs. I've got thousands and thousands and thousands of discs. So they're all arranged, and I'm really, really glad I got rid of the cases ahead of time because that saved a ridiculous hassle in moving. But I've got something like 30 briefcases full of movies with 230 something in each of them. But yeah, all the movies are there. All of the books are there. The gaming room is going to have the games. I've got my computer set up. I will hook up all of my video games. And then I work on the office and the mugs and everything else. And everything will be in its place. But the library brings me that anchor of calmness so that I can sit here and I can say, yes, there's a pile of everything over there. But this area, this is calm and perfection. So it restores me.
My dining room is more library than dining room, and it is also where the card catalog lives because
of the card catalog, you say?
Yeah, I acquired a card catalog from a university library because we're going to get rid of it, and I'm like, no, you're not. No, you're not. I'll take that off your hands.
Many an autistic heart went aflutter with that. So yeah,
mine did.
It is the perfect size to hold a bottle of the beverage of your choice.
Oh, there you go.
Card catalog drawers are the perfect size to hold most bottles.
There you go.
Very much. Excellent. Well, thank you all for joining us and listening to episode 93, Knitting is Autistic, with our amazing special guest, Hunter Hammersen. You can check out Hunter at Tiny Nonsense, not the big nonsense that's going on in Washington, D.C., but the tiny nonsense is the good kind. You can also buy things from her at patreon.com/tinynonsense. Everybody feels better when you buy from autistic people, especially when you're autistic. Do that. Go check her out and check us out on our next episode and over on our Substack. If you have not upgraded to being a paid supporter, you are missing out on neurodivergent narratives and private conversations with Matt and I and our paid supporters. So you can come and spend some special time with us. And coming up in the new year, we will be doing our Friday episodes live from time to time. And as a paid supporter, you will be able to attend and ask questions of our guests. Wouldn't that be fun? Come to a live recording. To get that invite, you've got to be a paid supporter. So head on over to Patreon. I'm sorry, not Patreon. Well, go there too, but head on over to Substack. If you are already a free member, in the top right-hand corner, it'll say upgrade. Click on that and you'll see all the yummy and delicious options. If you are not a free member yet, go ahead and sign up. Just put in your email address. And if that's annoying, put in a fake email address. It'll work. You just won't get our emails. So that's it. That's all I've got for this week. But we will see you guys in a few days. And Matt, I will see you in a few days for our next episode.
I will see you soon. Have a good one.
Thanks for listening to the Autistic Culture Podcast.
If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to check out our advocacy episodes every Friday, where we explore important issues and share strategies for living your best, most authentically autistic life.
And for even more autistic culture, consider becoming a paid member for exclusive perks like Q&A calls live with Matt and I, a virtual writing circle, and our new self-defined living course by Becca Laurie Hector.
Fun fact, it costs us about $8 for every minute you hear or see us on the podcast, but our member pricing is just $8 a month. What a bargain! Buy one, get 500 free. Seriously, if you could afford it, we would really appreciate your contribution. It makes this all possible.
And of course, the best way everyone can support what we're doing here is to rate, review, share, and subscribe on Substack or your favorite podcast app.
This is the way.